All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Indie Event. This is Matthew Harris with Geek Insider. And joining me right now, we have several directors from Full Moon Features. And we have John LECHAGO, which you may have already seen before. We interviewed him a few weeks ago. He is the director of Blade, the Iron Cross, which, John, I got to watch it last night, bud.
Awesome.
And Danny Draven. Danny is the director of Ouija's Halloween Night. And then we have Lindsay Schmitz, and Lindsay is the director of Femalien, Cosmic Crush, which is going to be available in 18 days. I just went and looked for the time a minute ago. Give or take now.
They did that to me too, Lindsay.
we could make it in 18 days. It's possible, yeah.
It's possible.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Good deal. Is it?
It's like wall-to-wall effects in this thing. So
oh, nice.
But we're getting there.
And we're still expecting Chris Alexander as well. Hopefully he'll be able to pop in, and then Meredith, my cohort, will be popping in momentarily. She's wrapping up one of the other shows from Indie Event. But gentlemen, welcome. As
Thanks.
I was saying right before we came on the air, is I am an old school Full Moon fan. I told John this. I used to go to the video store back when those were their thing, and if I just saw that Full Moon emblem, then I grabbed it. And so I'm talking, Doll Man and Demonic Toys, and of course Puppet Master. And I got a screener for Blade Iron Cross, but I didn't get a chance to watch it before we had John on. And then last night I just went ahead and got the Full Moon channel on my Amazon, and I'm not sure if your guys, I know that it's available on the deadly10.com, but Lindsay and Danny, are y'all's available on Amazon? Do you know?
Well,
go ahead, Lindsay. You're the you know.
Well, mine isn't out yet, so mine's not available on Amazon yet. I'm not 100% sure. Like, Amazon is very, very stringent, and especially with us lately, we've really landed on the bad side of the fence on a few things with them. So mine does have erotic elements to it, so I can't say whether or not like it's gonna be available on Amazon, but the best way to get our stuff is our Full Moon Features channel, fullmoonfeatures.com, our own streaming channel, and all these definitely come out on there, but we are releasing them as well on our Amazon channel. Like Blade should be available, and I'm surprised that Ouija's isn't.
Like, I didn't see it. But I have to say I was fangirling out a little bit because all the old school stuff was on there, and so I'm going, I hadn't got to see this in decades. I hadn't got to see this, and then this morning I'm going, crap. There was other things I could have watched because I've got the gas coming on. But Annie, do you know if yours is on there?
Say again. I'm sorry.
Do you know if yours is on the Full Moon on Amazon?
It should be, as far as I know.
Yeah, it was at one point.
It's too. I mean, it's too bad if it isn't. It's depriving the world of fine motion picture entertainment. All I know is I'm looking forward to the Blu-ray. Coming out, because that's fully loaded. It should be, as far as I know. Should be on that channel.
I had to check right now.
Yeah, please do.
I'm checking live. We got an internet connection. Why not?
Here we go. You think I would know that, but I don't really check.
Well, and I'll tell you too, folks that are out there listening, if you just go to deadly10.com and you click on the subscribe on any of these, you pay a year. I just saw this a minute ago, or I would have been pushing it already. You could get a year membership for $59.99, and they're giving a 12-disc Puppet Master Blu-ray box set, which is like $120 value itself. So, and then you also get access to all the Full Moon stuff. And
it's a pretty good, pretty good deal.
It is. I wish I would have seen that beforehand, because I would have gotten that. But I got a 7-day free trial on my Amazon, so I'm gonna splurge or binge watch some stuff this week while I can for free. And then I'll get it though, because I do like, of course, us here at Geek Insider, we like supporting the indies. That's why we're doing this whole con. And there's really no bigger indies than Full Moon. Full Moon is the most successful direct-to-video franchise in history, and that's no small feat, man. I mean, and Charles Band, like I said, when we first got Robin, and I always forget her name. They did
Robin Sidney or
Charles's girlfriend. I can't.
Yeah.
Okay. We had her. We had Barbie and Kendra on from.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Cody Renee Cameron.
Yeah, that's it, Cody. And then I found, I was already fangirling all about Charles, and then afterwards she tells me that their relationship, and I was like, oh my God. And then she's like, look, I'm in his office right now, and she starts showing me around. There's a little blade sitting there, and I'm like, oh my God. But because like I said, I've been a Full Moon fan for a long time. But John, and this will really go for all of you, I guess, because you all have had to deal with Amazon. We have talked with other directors that have said Amazon is stringent on a lot of things, and one of them is the closed captioning, that you have to do your own closed captioning. Yeah. John, who did closed captioning for Blade?
I don't know. That's a great question for Nikai, our producer. So Lindsay might know that.
By the way, she just walked by.
I just want to interject real quick. I checked on Amazon Prime. Ouija's is available, so it might be. When I did the search for Ouija's on Prime Video, and it's there.
If you look up whiskey, it'll come up as well.
But closed captioning, so yeah, that would be actually Lindsay's probably a little bit closer to that question. So I would handle that. So I don't know, but there are services out there that aren't too expensive. So I have another independent movie on Prime now, and my producer did handle that, and it was not, for independent filmmakers, it is affordable. You can get closed captioning done.
Matthew, we run the Full Moon Lab. Actually, I'm broadcasting right now from the Full Moon Video Lab. I don't know if I can take it around a little bit. If I keep going, like there's our computers, our stuff. So we do the closed captioning from here, or we commission it from here. But anyway, rev.com. That's what we do most of our stuff through. rev.com. They're like the cheapest, quickest place on the market. They're great for closed captioning.
Well, I think we use them.
Well, the reason that I asked, I'm trying to look for my notes here, because they misspelled Reich. They called it Rike, and right at one point, Right. But the biggest one to me is they misspelled too long. They were calling it too lean.
That's funny. I think
you get what you pay for.
They pay these people like a nickel an hour to do that. So don't expect any sort of
Right. I don't think it's a natural person.
It could be, and that's what I was really wondering if it was.
No, it's real people. It's real people, but
it is real people. Yeah, but
they like they like commission people like out of their homes, like you. Like any one of us could go online to rev.com and you can
become a captioner.
Can become a captioner. Yep, from home. So
pretty much. Yeah.
And that's what I was wondering, because I know we spoke with one guy who had a series that was going exclusive Amazon Prime, and he said that was one of the biggest pains in the ass was to do the closed captioning. And I just always wonder that, because I'm not hard of hearing. I just like having it on so that I can read sometimes to make sure that I heard what I thought I heard. And I just got tickled last night because I was like, all right, this person was not a Puppet Master fan. They don't know
sure.
history. But so I was just wondering. And then
normally, we had to get it out quick, Matthew. Normally, we vet anyone who does our closed captioning, make sure they know the difference between Torch and Blade.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They know their Toulons versus their Commander Hesses or whatever, like all the need to know all the angles.
And John, I wanted to touch on something, because like I said, when we got to meet you before, I hadn't been able to see Blade, and man, from not being able to see it or not watching any of the Puppet Masters in quite some time, and I've got the one that Fangora did a couple of years ago. I think it may be the Littlest Reich.
Yeah, but that's a separate company.
Yeah, and I realized that when I went to go watch it, and I was like, wait a minute, Full Moon isn't listed on here at all. And I haven't watched it yet. Yours was the first one I've watched. I don't know in how long. It got that same nostalgic feeling of the Full Moon movies from back in the late 80s and early 90s that I fell in love with. And that's what it immediately, I'm very happy that I got the subscription, on Full Moon, because it feels like coming home. Whereas a lot of these movies that you even go back to, you go, oh yeah, I love that movie back when it came out. And you go back and watch it and you're like, what the hell? Why did I like this? But the Full Moon has never done that. You can go back to them time and again. And I just wanted to congratulate you on really grabbing that feeling again.
Well, sure, and thank you. And that was definitely part of the mission from the start. I went back and looked at Puppet Master 3. Our production designer from Puppet Master 3 also did production design for this new one. We had another veteran working with Lindsay, DPing, Howard Wexler, and that was very carefully planned to get that. And of course, to tie it all up, we had Richard Band doing the music, doing a slightly different variation and stuff. So I'm very happy to hear the feedback from a lot of the old Full Moon fans that it kind of still captured the same tone, because that was, and I don't want to disappoint Charles Band. I don't want to disappoint the boss, right?
Right. No, and I did see that. I knew that Richard Band had been involved, and I only knew that because of Brenda, because of Meredith, because Richard was going to be at, I believe, Tampa Bay Comic-Con before they canceled it. And so she was planning on meeting up with Richard and hopefully maybe getting a quickie interview. But I saw that last night in the credits, and it did, like I said, it felt like coming home. I can't wait to go and watch the Ouija's because that comedy is just right up my alley. And of course, and I will admit, I had to go back and watch one of my all-time favorites, and I had to start at the beginning because I want to get to 3, but I had to go watch KILLJOY. And I started watching the original KILLJOY.
That was the first KILLJOY.
Yeah,
first KILLJOY is great.
Produced by Mel Johnson Jr. You remember him from Total Recall?
Oh yes.
I got 4 kids to feed. I saw that. Yeah. I thought it was 5 kids.
Now, Danny, you of course you got Ouija's that came out in October of last year, right at Halloween. Yep. Have you worked on other either other Deadly 10 projects or other Full Moon projects?
Yeah. Quite a bit, man. I've been involved with Full Moon for 20 years. So, I mean, I made my first movie for them 20 years ago. Directed my first movie from 20 years ago. So I've been around them a long time. I outdate all these guys, believe it or not. But no, I've been around them a long time. So,
Danny, who's that behind your shoulder there?
Oh, this is Dark Walker. It's one of a movie I made for $15,000 a long time ago, and they ended up making a Halloween masks out of it. So, Dark Walker. He pops in the movie every now and then. He's in Ouija's if you look.
Oh,
but, yeah.
Brooks, right? Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks wears the mask. Yeah. And then it got lost on set, and I had to find it. But but no, I've been involved with Full Moon a long time. I don't even remember how many movies, but certainly involved as a director and a producer a lot with Charlie, Real Evil, a bunch of other stuff, and certainly as an editor and a bajillion other things along the way. So, besides Full Moon, I'm involved with a lot of other companies. I've made movies for a lot of other folks. I did a movie with Michael Ironside called Patient 7, which I really had fun making, and that's also on Prime. I was involved in some kids' Christmas movies as a producer, all kinds of other stuff too. So, but I definitely highly recommend you go see Ouija's, especially if you're a fan of the retro sort of throwback to the older full moon stuff, I think you would enjoy. I think you would enjoy it.
Ghoulies.
Check it out. Yeah, if you like ghoulies, if you like ghoulies with a little bit of a weed angle, even though the weed angle's there, but it's kind of in the background. But yeah, you should check it out. For sure.
It's like a Scooby-Doo. Like the weed is like slightly more of a presence than it is in your average Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah, and that was by design. Because that was definitely by design. Because when that movie. First of all, that movie wouldn't even everybody that was involved in that movie initially. Well, and some of the key people involved in that movie initially, including myself, when it first came up, I said absolutely not. I'm not making this movie. That was my first thing I said was no fucking way. Am I making a Evil Bong movie sequel? And I said no way. I was actually kind of offended that I was even asked. And then I got certainly like the writer Tom Devlin, I think, hung up on me when I told him about it. And then, so in a night, like, no way, we're not making another. So, but then I started mentioning, no, it's not what you think. It's going to be Ghoulies in Vegas, and it was like, I'm listening, And then it just kind of developed from there into something that was originally conceived as believe it or not, as some kind of prequel or something to one of the Bong movies. And I said, if I'm going to make this movie, it's going to be 100% different, new characters, new story, new everything. New universe completely. And then that's, I think, when everyone else kind of jumped on board and we created this whole new little fun version with the weed element still there, but very much in the background. I mean, there's no nudity in the whole movie. There's very little. You would think, something you could probably let your kids watch, really. I've actually had a lot of people that said, my kids watched it, they loved it. And they're like, younger. It's like more PG-13, like Gremlins 2 or something, I think. So. Mind
you, my kids are huge potheads, but they love it.
Yeah, I know, right? And it actually, believe it or not, by design, I told him, I said, make sure, I said, I don't want to preach on this thing or anything, but make sure that the message that goes across there is that this thing, it was very much as like, if you do this, these things come out, they wreak havoc, they try to pull you in and make you into a Ouija and so on and so forth. So it was all that stuff was by design with me and the writer and everything along the way. And you got Ouijas. So
someone wants to know, or they said there's high bets for a Ouija's versus Evil Bong crossover.
Hey, absolutely not. No, there's not. If there is, I will not be involved. And probably most of the people that I brought on the sort of I would probably say no as well, because and I mean, look, I mean, it's if Charlie jumps in and says no, we're making that, okay, fine, but I will not be involved in that one. No way. And there is a reason for that, because I don't think that those two can really cross over. Honestly, it would be so bizarre out there. I just don't think it would work. But that's just my opinion. So the answer to it is no on that one.
I think there'd be too many wacky characters. There wouldn't be like any.
No, it'd be like
putting
KILLJOY and BLOOD together and making a new movie. It'd be like, what? You wouldn't want that. No, it's like, it's weird. Yeah, too many, and they're different the way they interact, and it's for me it wouldn't work. So,
Meredith, come on up. I see you back there. I didn't want to pull you in case you smack me again, saying that you're not ready.
My mouth's not working.
Oh, so also, what happened to Chris? Did we lose him?
He said,
I know Chris is supposed to be here.
He said he was having connection troubles with his.
Oh, God, Canada's taking this quarantine thing seriously, I guess. But you guys in the U.S., cooties.
So
hey, guys.
Hey, Meredith. How you doing?
Hey, Meredith.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to meet all of you.
And you as well, yeah.
Oh, I see a little one. Hello.
Yeah,
that's a reality of the lockdown,
He keeps going behind John and peeking over his shoulder, trying to get on
his butt.
That's okay. We'll keep our language to a minimum then.
He's fine. But Lindsay, I wanted to ask you, what has been your history with Full Moon? Give us a breakdown on where you started and where you're at this point with Full Moon. So
I guess it starts with my longtime girlfriend, basically wife, but like we don't do that. She's not into that. Nakai Nelson, who's been with the company for think over a decade. She's been with Charlie. She's been like the kind of like office manager, Charlie's assistant, whatever. And I was working, we were living in Los Angeles, and I was working for doing a lot of like post-production and this kind of thing. Also like camera work here and there, you know, odd steady work in post-production, then odd jobs with cameras and stuff. And I saw like she started working from home. They dissolved the office. This was a few years back. And I saw these bills on the, like, she would handle the bills for like contracting to labs or whatever to get like a, you know, to get this master pulled and made into a form that they could deliver to Hulu or wherever, you know, whoever they were doing business with. And first of all, when I saw these bills, I saw all these things that they were charging for. And it was like every single time it was getting something off of a digibeta tape, like, you know, like they had their stuff stored on here. I got them right over here. Wait, I'll grab one.
Digibeta. Remember that, Danny?
God.
Yeah. I finally, my digibeta machine is a paperweight, and I ended up finally getting rid of it.
Yeah, right.
There you
Exactly.
go. Yeah, sure.
$160 each.
Yeah, I know.
They
They
would
used to be
store
20,000.
So they would store everything on those, you know, big blue digibeta tapes. And so the labs would charge them every single time for, you know, getting it off of the tape, digitizing it, and, you know, then compressing it and whatever, and then delivering it. And I saw all these charges, and I'm like, dude, I could do this way better from home and, you know, save Charlie a buttload of money and, you know, do all right for myself at the same time.
Right.
And so, you know, she got me a meeting. I had, you know, seen him I'd gone to like dinners and stuff with him. I had like met a lot of these guys and stuff by that time. But she got me a meeting with him, and I went and sold him the idea of making an entire digital archive of all of his stuff. And
Oh, did we freeze?
Yep. Lindsay.
Lindsay froze in motion.
Oh, the technical guy is frozen. That's
Yeah.
not going well.
Lindsay,
Yeah.
if you can hear us, you might want to
We can
leave and
fill
come
in.
back.
Danny, we can fill in. So the digital archive
Yeah.
is definitely a modern, updated version way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, back in the old days, when before all these guys, when we went back at their Hollywood and Vine, they actually had a vault librarian, a vault. We had negatives. We had.
oh, okay, there we go.
Right,
We're
the whole
back.
deal. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a different.
So
and then
behind me,
there we go. Lindsay's on now.
yeah, no, I'm back now.
You're not. You're back. You're back.
Yeah, you're back.
So right here is like Full Moon's entire video archive, like all digitized. There's my big wizard poster.
Nice.
So yeah, so that was like the first big thing I did was I got all of his stuff off of tapes everywhere and put them on digital format. And then I was doing like little edit bits and stuff like that. And yeah, just doing like basic video lab stuff and like all from home. And then we grew it a bunch. Like I bought this. This is the deck that you put these tapes in, just like that, case and all. No.
Basically, virtually.
You got that little DV cam over there too?
He froze again.
Man.
Uh-oh.
Either that or he's moving really
Maybe it's a
slow.
Minnesota, Canada thing. Uh-oh. This is the internet shutting down there. All right, next question. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yep, let's move on. Just 1 second. I did have one question for. Let's start this one with Danny. Danny, if you could take any of the Full Moon properties and have an unlimited budget, which property would you want to make?
Any of the Full Moon properties, huh?
Great question.
Yeah, boy, that is a good question because I'm a little. It probably would have been Ghoulies, but I already kind of made. I don't know. I really don't know.
John, anything?
John, you answer that one. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I have an idea, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, it might actually be an Empire project, which was Laser Blast. You know, and I would want to redo that one, or do a sequel to it and stuff, and I'll continue to pitch it because I think that I love good old-fashioned gunfights, like a combination of Taxi Driver's ending gunfight and the Wild Bunch, but with lasers. It would be awesome. So that's so again. Danny? Do you know, or Lindsay? Do you know if Laser Blast Empire or is it?
It's actually pre-Empire. It's Charles Band Productions.
Yeah.
It's even pre-Empire. Wow.
Yeah.
No, 77. I'm pretty
70,
sure. 78.
Yeah, 70. Yeah. No, it was Mansion of the Doomed, I think, was 77. Laser Blast. Yeah, it's around that era. Definitely 78.
Yeah, but it was Charles Band Productions.
Sure.
Yeah, it was
Okay, so then let me ask you, as far as a full moon movie, is Mandroid a full moon movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to do Mandroid.
Yeah, you want to do Mandroid? Oh, yeah.
But just by the title alone, I'm like Mandroid. Yes.
Yeah, Mandroid. Yeah.
Mandroid was like in the middle of that period that some people call like the Jack Kirby period, where it was like Mandroid, like Invisible, Chronicles of Benjamin Knight, and what else? There's something else that they shot, but like Murder Cycle, where it was these like all like the gunplay full moon movies, like the ones with like a lot of we're all in that like little period, and like Mandroid was right in the middle of that. Yeah.
They had Full Moon had a lot of labels over these 20 years. I mean, and I think like stuff like Murder Cycle and stuff, they had the Extreme X or whatever it was they had with these, and then they had their kit, and they had the Moonbeams, and they had a ton of labels over the years. I mean,
Action Extreme.
I couldn't even Action Extreme, and so they were filling in these gaps. I mean,
Pulse Pounders.
I think after thinking about it a little bit, about of any of the properties to remake, for me, I don't know. I think maybe something like a Shrunken Heads would probably fit me well. And the only reason I say that is because I don't believe it or not, I'm not I like horror, but I don't like horror kind of thing. I'm more of a I would rather do movies that are a little bit more comedy based, like Ouija's. Except Ouija's is exactly what I like to do. I like rubber monsters. I like them when they're funny. I don't like the serious stuff. I don't like to scare people, even though I've certainly made those. But I don't know, Shrunken Head, and I do like the stuff that appeals to like maybe a little bit of a younger audience too, with a little bit of the fun stuff, like the Moonbeam movies, for instance, Prehysteria, all that stuff for me is a lot. I think is a lot of fun. So. Danny,
if you made a new Shrunken Heads movie though, Danny, would it be as confused as the original Shrunken Heads movie?
It could, yeah.
Would you have sexually charged scenes between like 14-year-olds like they do in the original Shrunken? If you haven't seen Shrunken Heads and you want a great movie for bad movie night, that just makes you go like, what who is this movie for? What are they thinking? Like, right. Watch Shrunken Heads. It is the most what's his name? Richard Elfman, Danny Elfman's brother, and then Danny Elfman does a like the theme song and everything.
Yeah, right.
But Richard Elfman is a pretty off the wall director in like his other stuff and whatnot. But it's a very confused movie.
Well, just that quirkiness, I think, of those, whether it's Shrunken Heads or, like I said, Prehysteria. Just what was that other one we just re-released? The other, not Prehysteria. I don't remember, but anyway, the Moonbeam stuff was like Shrunken. You remember Shrunken City?
Shandar, the Shrunken City.
Shandar, the Shrunken City. Yeah, but those were. I mean, you look at those films, and they were shot in Romania, most of them, and they shot in these. A lot of them were shot in these, beautiful castles, and shot on 35, and.
Well,
they're really nice.
Ted Nicolau, another one of the Deadly 10 directors, who's doing the new He did all the subspecies, but he's doing the subspecies 5. He did a lot of those Moonbeam movies too.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah, he did, and I think Schmoller did too, right? Dave Schmoller directed. One or two of them too. I think I don't recall which ones, but yeah. So.
Now, Lindsay, while you were frozen again there, I'd ask the guys if you could take any of the let's say any of the Charles Band properties
Yeah, I think I got the question, and I totally have an answer locked and loaded. The first movie, you know, and Danny was talking about, like, you know, or you were talking about too, like being a Full Moon fan when you were a kid, right? And like whenever you saw that Full Moon logo, you would nab it up, right? That was the exact same thing for me, you know. And I remember seeing Charlie at the, you know, on the video zones and everything. So, you know, to find out that like my girlfriend was working for him was amazing, you know. But even before the Full Moon logo was there, the first movie that I ever, now I'm the youngest of 4 children, so like when we went to on the rare occasion we went to the video store, like it wasn't about what I wanted to watch. Like there was a lot of people to get through before like I got my pick. But I always remember the first movie that I ever wanted to see in my entire life was sitting up there in that like Empire big box. It was Mutant Hunt. You guys know about Mutant Hunt?
Sure.
I know the title. I haven't seen it.
I want to go grab the case now.
No, it's a great
talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go grab the
Grindhouse poster. Yeah, it's a great, you know, it's a great little poster with the robot with the, you know, the arm outstretched and everything.
Oh yeah, I think I did see that one. It was like
there's you know, look, I mean, wanting to remake any Full Moon movie, I mean, anybody's going to put their own touch on it, no matter what it is. You know, I mean, you know, we're all going to ignore the original and make our own thing. So yeah,
I remember that. They had a cool. It was actually some pretty cool things in it.
It just captured my imagination. It's Tim Kincaid. He did like the Breeders. He did
Breeders.
He did actually the original Necropolis, which is Chris, who's not with us today. Did the reboot of, I don't want to say remake, it's a completely different movie. Did the kind of reboot of, and that was just like, that cover just captured my imagination. That was just it was the first movie I ever wanted to see. And so and it had some cool world building, like it's a somewhat flawed movie. Definitely check it out. Like this guy does this like Dolomite style kung fu sequence in his tidy whities, you know, and by Dolomite style I mean really, really bad. You know, like with the spin kicks where his like foot doesn't get above his waist, you know, this kind of thing. But I actually wrote an outline for a Mutant Hunt reboot, but it's a little pricey for our current you know, for our current level of movie making, but it's definitely something that like the number one thing that I'd like to do. It's a reboot where it's like all a female team of mutant hunters. And like it takes some of the world building, like a lot like what I did with Mammalian, takes like some of the world building elements that were like kind of hinted at and really, really build upon. So, but yeah, Mutant Hunt is definitely my answer.
Yeah.
Well, and we got a couple of folks out in the audience, and they are wanting a Shrunken Heads 2.
Danny, you're on it.
I could do Metal Storm too. That would be another one, but it'd have to be in 3D.
We did that once recently in Full Moon for one of the Bond movies.
We did, yeah, we did.
Yeah, Evil Bond 3. Yeah.
I could that'd be a whole nother podcast to tell you how we did the post on that one, the way that they shot it, the way I posted it, invented a whole new way of using multi-clip mode in order to do left and right for the 3D, and then having to do the convergence together through this cheap plugin. And we transferred it to 35, and they projected it. It actually worked. All of it worked. It's just. But yeah, it was Evil Bong 3D, and we did scratch and sniff on that, which nobody is doing. If you remember, John, I don't remember. We've done so many of these, I don't remember who was involved at what point, but definitely on that one we did scratch and sniff. So it had Charlie had those little cards, and I had to put these numbers up on the screen, blinking 1, 2, and one was like cotton candy or like a fart smell or whatever, and then you would have to scratch it and sniff it, and then you had your 3D glasses on. But it was old school 3D. It was the not Avatar 3D. It was the older one.
But it was surprisingly effective. Actually,
it worked. It absolutely worked 100%. But we did. I mean, we shot that on those. I don't remember what camera it was, Lindsay, but that old HDV. A lot of the older Full Moon movies we were shooting on. Believe it or not, DV cam, which is now as a joke, you know, to think about what we were shooting on back then. But a lot of them were on HDV tape, little mini DV tape and HDV, and that in 3D was quite the. They had a whole rig they put together for it and everything. It was fun to do. I mean, you know, but the post on that was weird.
I saw the rig with the two cameras. Evil Bong 4 was my first camera department, my first time on the camera department. For Full Moon. Like I did camera on both of these guys' movies. They weren't around for mine, but I did camera.
That's right. Yeah, right.
I'm here.
No, John. No, they're great. They're here. Everybody, we're all a family, and everybody works together. You know, really well. But I saw that the rig there. They had the one camera shooting straight, and then the one shooting into the mirror thing, and it was a rig they had.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah, Charlie's always been pretty adventurous with some of the. I remember when he first said we're gonna do a 2D version and a 3D version, and you're gonna do it for the same amount of money. Okay, and no, but when they transferred that to 35, I was like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Because I was like, that's going to look like shit. I mean, it's HDV, which is not, you know, it's one thing you do it on video or whatever. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe pre Blu-ray, and it was fine. But man, do back then, the way they were transferring it too, it was just like they were doing these frame-to-frame transfer of that to, and then they did it. They showed it at a festival. So I don't know. I didn't go, but
I did BioSlime in HDV because
sure,
BioSlime, and it is a tough compression. That compression, if you don't light, expose, and have them focused, it is
sure.
And so I'm kind of glad it's gone and stuff.
All that early Full Moon stuff, a lot of that early Full Moon stuff was 3. We were shooting 35 for quite a while on ends. I think this probably back. It was just, man, it was like, let me see, we did like Petrified, Ginger Dead Man, the first Ginger Dead Man, the first Evil Bong, Doll Graveyard, all that stuff. Back then we were shooting on 35 millimeter short ends with this old Arri BL camera. And he was only shooting maybe 30,000 feet of film which is not a lot of material. And we were still making over 60-minute films. By the time they were done, and then it transitioned, because I think back then Charlie's like, I don't know about DV and all that stuff, and then I don't know if it was a price thing or what, but we ended up going into the digital realm, and it started with we did some stuff, a lot of stuff on DV cam back in the day that was film looked, and then with the Full Moon stuff, Killer Eye, that was all HDV material.
That was with J.R. Bookwalter, right?
That was that stuff was DV cam, specifically DV cam. That's why a lot of poor Lindsay has all these masters. Like, why the hell did you guys master these on DV cam? We didn't have back then. A Digibeta deck cost like $25,000-$30,000. Now it's like you can give them away. They're not expensive. Yeah,
no, I bought mine for it was $1,000. It was very.
Oh wow, I got mine for $500.
Well, mine's better.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm sure it is. Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, you know, it's just the way we did it, you know, back then, and now things are a little better as far as the camera quality and stuff. So
now, Danny, earlier you said that the character back behind you has made it into Ouija's, but Meredith wants to know, John, or do you have any little Easter eggs, or Lindsay, have you put any little Easter eggs that may go from one movie to another?
I mean, if you want me, I'll answer first, I guess. But the answer is absolutely. There's probably still Easter eggs that nobody's ever even found out after all these. But in Ouija's, like if you want to specifically on Ouija's, yes, there is Easter eggs in there. One I could tell you, I don't mind spoiling it now. I mean, certainly the mask is in there. One of our AD Brooks, he wore it, but that's really not an Easter egg.
Brooks Davis, a stalwart member of the Full Moon team.
Yes,
he is.
He's on. He's on everything. Helps out. He's like the guy behind the guy on everything.
He is, absolutely. And
I'm sorry.
Darkwalker, the only if you want to find an Easter egg, there's another. If you look at the room that they're in the big mansion when you're watching the film, there's a Darkwalker. One of the pictures on the wall is the Darkwalker's face, and there's also an image of Radu on the wall, I think, which is a little thing, but certainly Darkwalker's image is actually, it's very short, but it's actually on one of the pictures.
And that
on the
image of
walls.
Radu, that's
It's
actually,
back there, right there
Yeah.
on your wall.
yeah, she gave. I forget what
It's
the gal's
pretty
name
cool,
was. But yeah, it's amazing.
It's a very well done. Yeah, it's a beautiful little painting she did. We stuck it on the wall in Ouija's, and because I think they were in the movie or one of the extras or something, and I was like, oh, that's cool, so we threw it on the wall. But yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs in some of these stuff, but in Ouija's, that's one of them. Lindsay, do you have any Easter eggs in yours?
As for me, Familian Cosmic Crush is my first full moon movie. So maybe like we start the tradition here, but there's a character in there called Blue Humongous who's actually played by my brother Luke Schmitz, and I think that I think he's probably going to be a hit. He's this big squid dude, like this crazy guy. I think he might be a hit, so we'll probably try to cram him in somewhere in like every movie that I do from here on out. So
very cool.
Yeah.
And what about you, John? Have you had
Easter
anything?
I have. I tried. It's more like just nods to other films. And Blade: The Iron Cross had a lot of things that we tried to do a nod to Stuart Gordon, who recently, unfortunately, he passed away while we were still in post, and I wish you could have seen the film, because the zombies were definitely reanimator zombies. Basically, naked dead people. That was absolutely. Yeah. Because I knew Stuart would have loved that,
Yeah, would have.
Right, exactly. Right. The other thing was the elixir to reanimate the puppets was basically reanimator juice, and I had a line in there that unfortunately did not make the final cut. But the line was, do you mind if I send a sample of this to? I forgot what the doctor was. The doctor in the opening scene of Reanimator, the young Swedish doctor. He was going to get a sample of Toulon's elixir, and that's a tie-in, because it actually works out. That doctor that we see at the beginning of Reanimator would have been a young man at the end of World War II. So those were the things that we were kind of doing, but we don't have, because we're kind of locked into this period piece. I didn't have anything specifically, but I would have loved to do more Easter eggs.
John, the thing about Stuart Gordon too, it's a little interesting. John and I actually met through Stuart Gordon.
Right.
I think, believe it or not, he was kind of a mentor for me, and John and I met, I think, for him, but that was a long time ago, so we've known each other a long time. But I think we first initially met through Stuart, right?
Well, kind of. Right? It's kind of a small world, because you were also doing work for.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. No, wait, actually, it predates that, because I cut a trailer for a company that was releasing Bio Slime?
No,
the gnome one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
that's a small puppet movie.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that is the first time. Yeah, you're right. Oh man,
but
wow.
That was the first time that we kind of crossed paths professionally, but we didn't know it. But actually, Stuart was the one that made us exchange names and numbers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I just started to do work for Full Moon, which of course Stuart introduced me to Charlie. And then it came up that you're doing your movie Ghost Month and needed some visual.
Yeah, that's right.
That was an official introduction.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
A long time ago, right?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
And it's amazing how fast the time goes by. The more gray we get.
Yeah.
John, we had another question for you from the audience. Toku Nerd says, in Blade Iron Cross, sort of variant of the end credit theme of Littlest Reich was used. Were there any rights complications when having the song be used?
Well, whatever the Littlest Reich used for then, and I don't remember it right now, would have probably been a variation off of Richard Band. So Richard Band owns all of the music and themes to Puppet Master. So I think if it sounds similar, it's just coincidence. Because Richard did do an original score for us, obviously based on the previous music that he already did. So there wouldn't be no complications.
Good deal. And Meredith wants to know, what's it like working in the Deadly 10 film schedule?
Great question. You go first, Danny, since you shot. Let's go in order.
Yeah, well, let's go in order of how we shot it, because really, I asked to go first. I wanted to go first, and I knew it would be going first would probably they would realize a bunch of stuff that was wrong in the first one and fix it on the second one and the third one and so on and so forth. So I didn't mind going first. I'm used to it. And it went from yeah, it's going to be 6 days to being 5 days to being like 4.5 or something. So it just kept going. The budget, the time kept going down, but nothing got shorter. So yeah, it was it was difficult. We shot mine in Las Vegas, and we took over a hotel, of course, for it. And Artisan Hotel. We took over the hotel, and we shot this whole movie in that amount of time. Now I knew that going in, and being a somewhat experienced filmmaker in this department, I realized that 4.5 days or whatever is going to be, people talking, and we're not gonna have. So what I did was, on the first one, is I wanted to make sure that I had like multiple camera crews going around shooting whatever they possibly could. So I had like, I think it was like 3 second unit. We had a first unit, which was me and Howard and Lindsay and everybody. We had our first unit, and then we had a second unit, and then we had a third unit, and I even had like a fourth unit at some point going around with GoPros and drones and the whole deal. So I wanted to utilize that 4 days as much as I could to get as much useful material, and that helped a lot. So yeah, it's tough, but you just have to always think about how much time you got, and then what you can do creatively to work around what you're given, because you're not going to get any more time. You're not going to say, "Well, I need another day."
The second unit and second and third unit, whatever, on Ouija's really fleshed it out. Because being part of the first unit, I saw what we shot, which was the actors, the A stuff, if you will. And there was some, we shot some of the Ouija stuff and whatnot, but yeah, like when I finally saw the movie, that was the first time that I even saw, like a lot of those other unit stuff, and just like, wow, it really, really fleshed it out. And it was really a lot of fun.
And we had a lot of, and Tom Devlin and I, we really spent a lot of time in after the fact too. When it was literally just me and him, or me and one of the 1313 effects crew guys, I'd go over there and say, "Hey, I need to get some inserts of this hand or this middle finger," and I would go over and I'd shoot it myself, and it'd just be me and the puppet and one person, and we'd do the whole thing. So I was able to really grab a lot of stuff after the fact, which certainly always helps. Definitely when you're making any sort of puppet movie. I'm sure John knows what I mean. You need those insert days, and you need to really spend time with the puppets in the insert days, and to really get the most out of it.
Yeah. I remember when
your turn. I think no, wait, it's Chris's turn, and then it would be John's turn. Yes.
Sorry. So actually, I'm going to dovetail a little bit with Ouija's, because I was part of the second unit for a couple days there when they were shooting. I mean, it's an amazing, heroic job shooting just your scripted stuff in 5 days. And so a unit was doing all that, going absolutely crazy, which is really amazing. And I realized, my God, I volunteered. I said, look, just get me up there with a couple other people, and we have the second camera, and I'm just going to shoot as much hallway stuff and stuff in rooms and puppets and all that kind of stuff, which will help out, and then be a second camera unit during the party scenes and everything, because that is when it comes time to editing, you'll need all that extra footage to make it, to really give you more options.
Absolutely.
So it was a little bit similar with Iron Cross as well. And Lindsay was with us on the first unit. And again, just a brutal job shooting that in 5 days.
Dude, schlepping up and down the steps of that. It was like
that
the deadest
location.
Summer. It was like up and down the steps of that goddamn building.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like I'm just lugging like these camera gear, and there was an elevator. There was a freight elevator, but like it was used like it was the elevator of the building, like where what is it, elevator or something like, or some or like elevator. They have some like show about this creepy elevator. But anyway, like, yeah, just up and down those goddamn stairs.
And then the first day, we really could shoot. You know, it's not like you land and you already start shooting, because we had to build a set. You know, so we get there on the first day and the clock is ticking, but the camera, first unit, we're all out in the hallways around stuff, shooting as much stuff as possible, because we have Billy Jett trying to build the set, put together the set, you know, which maybe we shoot a little bit on the second day, on the first day, and then we pretty much have to cram the rest of the show into the second day for the finale. So it was brutal. Again, props to Nakai, who got me one more hour on a day, and that made a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
You know, even though we had to.
Yay, Nakai!
Yay, Nakai!
So yeah, thank you,
Yay,
Nakai.
Nakai! Are you watching?
Also, say with a little bit of help
Come
from
down and say hi quick.
Nakai saved us from getting shut down. Do you want to talk about that? Apparently, because we didn't know this, that even on private property now in Los Angeles, you need a film permit.
Nakai, come down here and talk about this.
So
That's
she's
why I
not.
don't shoot there.
She's not coming. She won't.
that's fine.
She doesn't like any of the limelight.
But no, she kicked ass, and you know, she and Charlie kicked ass on that and stuff. But again, you know, I was like, we're not going to make it. And then. But after our initial 5 days, then yeah, we had to do pickup shots, and it's a lot of green screen work with puppets. And then even after that, I had the unfortunate. It was unfortunately when Los Angeles started to lock down because of COVID-19, and I had to do tons of what I call tabletop insert shots. Something you can do on a tabletop with a small camera and everything. But I had to do everything myself just to get these insert shots because we're locked down. But this is what we're used to now, actually. And, you know, it gets, we pull it off eventually. I think probably a few lost neurons in the process. But
I think with this COVID thing and the restrictions on it, I think that we can weather the storm like better than a lot of types of production, you know. The shoestring nature of what we do is already like, you know, it's already like two dudes in a closet or whatever. So
yeah, one thing about independent filmmaking, for instance, like that we share in common, Danny, Lindsay, and me, is we can actually do virtually any job in the production, from shooting, lighting, post-production, and so that really helps. So if you're the only person available, you can do most everything. We all know how to light, expose, focus, what kind of shots we need, special effects shots we need for post-production. So that does help quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that I want to do that.
No, yeah, not that you want to do, but it definitely helps.
I like people.
Yeah.
Danny V. Jones wanted to know, she said, how much was the budget for Ouija's? It looked expensive. Did you have a higher budget than some of the other Deadly 10, or is it all pretty in line?
No, I mean, honestly, I don't really, I don't really know the exact answer to that, frankly. I mean,
Nakai does
with any of these movies. The budgets are not a lot, but they're not, they're not super tiny either. So the key is to use people that know how to make it look bigger than it really was, and I think that's really the key. So
all three of ours were around $100,000.
Yeah.
Also, Howard
like 120.
And Howard's, he's been kicking ass, giving it a nice polished look, all three films. So
yeah,
that helps.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
And plus, just how quick he is, that we can get like so much in a day. Like I don't know how many pages you guys were shooting in. I don't know how many pages you guys were shooting in a day, but we're looking at for Alien actually something that I'm kind of proud about is we're looking at like a 95-minute plus, and that's with like the erotic scenes like way trimmed down. We're actually looking at like a 95-minute plus movie. So there was a day that we shot like 18 pages in a day. And without Howard and his speed, you know, we never would have been able to do that. Obviously, I wasn't on the camera department at that time. We had some great Minnesota people were on the camera department, but yeah, like Howard leading the way is just he's the fastest DP that you know that I've ever worked with. Yeah, for sure. No, that's definitely a key to it too. Is the DP. That's the first question I always ask is who's the DP. Because I won't work on movies if I don't know the DP. If I have to be. I mean, maybe for other people it's different. For me, man, that DP and me, we have to be so in sync, you know. And I always ask who's pulling focus. I always ask who's the DP, who's pulling focus. And there's a couple of the keys and you know everything else, whatever. But definitely the DP. I mean, the first DP I ever worked with at Full Moon was Mac Alberg, and Mac, who's passed away now, but I mean he shot everything, freaking Reanimator, from all the Empire movies. Mac Alberg, just look him up, everything you could think. So I remember he was like, he shot Beverly Hills Cop 3 and Innocent Blood with John Landis, and here I am, I'm like 21 and I'm working with him, and it was I was like, we got to shoot like 15 pages today, and he's just like he's like no. I mean he was very our first day together we actually got in a heated argument the very first day on set. I remember we were just yelling at each other, and he was like, I was like, we was taking too long, blah, 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 blah. And then, so we had this whole sort of an incident on set, and then we became like the best of friends after that immediately. And he was kind of Stuart and I like to call him the professor because he was kind of taught us so much about cinematography. I learned a lot about cinematography from Mac Alberg, and man, but we would always try to speed him up a little bit. He was 80 back then too. And he was always more light. We need more light, But man, he made it look freaking good. He lit everything like those old like Empire. We were shooting some of the stuff we shot on DV cam, and he would light it like we were shooting 35. Yeah. And then once we applied a film look to it, it actually made it look really, really nice. But he was a pleasure to work with, and we remained friends long after that. And he shot maybe one or two other films, and then I think he died in 2000. I want to say, I don't know. It was 2013 or something. He moved to Italy and so on and so forth. But yeah, he was a great DP, one of the best ever. But definitely speed, like Lindsay was saying. Howard is super fast, super pleasure to work with, and you need that on these for sure. And among Howard's many credits, we talk about the movies that Mac Alberg does, but among Howard's many credits are some of my favorites are the Andy Sedaris movies. Matt, do you know Andy Sedaris? The movie, like Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Picasso Trigger. No. Check him out. Malibu Bay Films, Andy Sedaris collection. We got him on our streaming site. We actually have him on our Amazon channel too. Okay. So check out Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Matt. All right. Hey, Howard says thank you. it's like they're like James Bond movies, but with like replace James Bond with like a half a dozen Playboy Playmates. And yeah.
Done. Definitely will have to check it out. And a couple of people asked, both Toku Nerd and Jester Mikey, they want to know, are there any plans? Jester Mikey, what's up, Jester Mikey? Are there any plans to have a Deadly 10 box set or Blu-ray set once all the Deadly 10 are released? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if we didn't. Yeah, there's got. I mean, there will be at some point. I mean, but there's still a lot to go. But yeah, I mean, Ouija's is coming out on Blu-ray, Blade Blu-ray. I mean, the stuff's coming. It's just, but once all 10 of them are together, is there going to be a box set? I would say, yeah, there's got to be. I mean, yeah, especially for us hardcore Full Moon fans. And Meredith tagged me the other day. I told her if any of y'all came in wearing it, I was going to get you to send it to me. But she showed me the Blade mask that's going around. Yeah. The Corona mask. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I got to get some of that Full Moon stuff. And if there is a box set, I'm going to have to jump in on that. The box set that you get with the subscription to to the Deadly 10 or Full Moon, that is enticing as all get out. And folks, if you didn't catch it at the beginning of the show, if you go to deadly10.com and you subscribe with your 1-year paid membership, which is just $59.99, you get a 12-disc 12 Blu-ray box set of Puppet Master, the big kahuna from Full Moon.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
And Matthew, just so everybody knows, I don't know, from the way you said it might be a little bit confusing, because you can go, the link is on Deadly 10 and everything, but the subscription is for fullmoonfeatures.com for our streaming site. Deadly 10 and like all the behind the scenes stuff for like all our movies and stuff, that's all free. So you go to Deadly 10 and all that stuff's free, but then you can see the link to fullmoonfeatures.com with the deal that Matthew's talking about, which is it's been extremely successful for us. People are really loving it. So definitely check it out. So and where else can you don't get that on Netflix. You don't get the physical and the streaming service, so for our fans that love both, this is the perfect thing.
It was pretty. I mean, it was pretty revolutionary too. When we did this Deadly 10 thing, that you got to remember. I mean, as far as we know, it was the first, 100% completely live streamed production that we had 2 cameras on set. I mean, when Ouija's being the first one, I was a little bit, we had that camera was in my face all the time, and we had people get the hell out of here. But that thing was like right here, like all the time. And there was 2 of them. So it's a little annoying, I got to say, but everybody got to see it.
I was literally at one point in Famalian, I was literally in tears because one of my main actresses left town after the first day of shooting. We figured it out and we fixed the whole thing, and actually the movie's better for it. The stuff that you would have seen if you were paying attention on Famalian, like if you were watching that thing, and some people were, I was on the set of all of our movies, but yeah, just crazy. It's like we do it so fast that some people were saying like, well, all they're doing is working, like there's not enough drama or whatever, because they're just they're just professionals who are just doing their jobs, but if you're paying attention, that stuff comes in here and there, and that's the real drama. That's what people really talk about.
Y'all basically took the words right out of my mouth, that the Deadly 10, that if you can watch these things as they're being made. And it is a little bit tough because it's live streamed. It's not like a reality show where then they cut away to, one of us sitting down. Oh, and this happened and that happened, where you have a commentary. So you have to pay attention. But I think that you're going to see filmmaking that's unlike what Hollywood usually, or what most other filmmaking is like. This is a very special kind of filmmaking where it's, I think it's a slightly different beast. And it's one that does not get enough credit because
well, you're gonna learn a hell of a lot more because we're constantly doing stuff, and the guy who like John said, like a lot of our directors can do everything on set, so it's like you're following people around who are getting their hands dirty on everything, and who have to, because you have to get that shot in the in the next 6 minutes or whatever, you have to get that shot. So it really is, if you're paying attention, like you can learn a lot, and we try to, and Howard does a lot. We try to like turn to the camera and be like, oh, this is a 50 millimeter lens or whatever, blah, 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 So we try to be demonstrative with stuff when we can, but a lot of times we'll forget about it and just got to get the shot,
I think there's a lot of disasters happening all the time, and we have plan Bs and plan Cs that we just kind of seamlessly go into. Because we know, okay, well, I can't get that shot, but I'll cover it like this, and I'll cover it like that. And I think, if you can see how us doing that, I think that's,
definitely.
And that's the thing that I want a lot of our audience, the Geek Insider audience, to get, because we do have a lot of folks that have a desire to get into indie filmmaking. And the Deadly 10 is the perfect opportunity. Of course, once the world opens back up and you can go and watch these things live, because it's kind of free schooling, really. And, especially those that are wanting, whether you're wanting to get into writing the scripts, or you're wanting, you're still going to be out on those sets most of the time. And these are great ways to see it. Plus, who better to learn from than the most successful direct-to-video franchise in the world. And you know, I've always said, I said at the beginning of the show, I love Full Moon. And again, I give kudos to John, because this was the first Puppet Master that I got to see in a long time, and it just put me right back into that same feeling. And I'm stoked to be able to go and watch the other stuff. I've been making notes here. I got notes down to watch. What did I put down here? Well, anyway,
Ouija's. Remember Ouija's? You got to watch it like about. I don't know. You got to watch it a little bit before midnight, and then you got to definitely drink a little bit.
Watch Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Do shots every time you see boobies, and then that'll ready you up for Ouija's, and then you can slide into.
Here we go. Now I gotta.
Also, we gotta plug tonight as well. You gotta watch NECROPOLIS. You know,
yes.
I mean, it's incredible. You know, and he did it under the same circumstances we did as well. You know, so.
NECROPOLIS was for like half the budget of our movies, though, guys. I don't know if you knew that.
It's amazing.
And so this gives us another opportunity to have more Full Moon back, because now we can get Chris back, get him on when his internet's better, and then we can talk about NECROPOLIS, and then hopefully by that time we'll have a few more directors that we can bring in from the Deadly 10, and maybe get Charles. We are planning something near Halloween for more indie cons, but guys, I got to make Meredith's day here. Meredith, she's the muscle behind all of this. She put this whole thing together in a matter of a couple of weeks. I worked with Laura to get you guys, because that's all I told her. I said, you can do whoever you want, but I want anyone I can get from Full Moon. She said, okay. But she started a word of the day today, and I got to get one of you guys. Can y'all see this? Just to say this hashtag.
Butt beard.
There we go. Hashtag buttbeard. That is the word of the day. Here in a little bit after hours, I will give the definition of what I thought it was. They admitted that it's something to do with grooming hair in places that it shouldn't be, and not in places that it should. But anyway, guys, we went over a little bit of the time. That's one thing that we like to do around here, is just, like I said, have these conversations, let them go organically. And, you know, I'm the boss around here, so I can let my show go as long as I want. But definitely enjoyed having you all on. John, of course, is a pleasure. And you're going to get me the BioSlime. GeoSlime. And, but what was I going to say? Oh, everybody, make sure you check out the deadly10.com so that y'all can see all the titles. There is going to be 10 titles. And Meredith did have one other great question. Maybe you all have a little insight here. After the Deadly 10 is finished, does Charles Band have anything bigger planned for 2021?
Charlie's always got bigger stuff planned. I mean, you know, like he's always just like on his way to, you know, like anytime you talk to Charlie, you're interrupting him on his way to the next thing, you know. And it's you know, it's like, God forbid you bring up something from last week, you know. Like he doesn't even know what you're talking about, you know. But that's the greatest thing about Charlie. And the thing that I absolutely love about working with him, and I know that these guys could probably say the same, that he's not only is he a survivor, he's been around for decades in a climate, in an industry that's just fluctuating so much every day. The fact that we were able to make this transition into the streaming world and everything, the thing that really killed off a lot of producers, you know, when you can go on Netflix and you can watch 40,000 movies for like this small, monthly fee. That's great for movie buffs and fans and stuff. But for the producers, man, it just kills them, you know? So definitely, not only is he a survivor, but it's always, he's just a kid. He's a little kid making movies, and, the future is limitless. So it's really cool to be part of that ride.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, definitely look forward to it. What was that, John?
Is that?
Definitely has things up his sleeve.
Yeah, he does. He always does.
It's our job to try and wrench it out of him.
Right.
It's like, well, I want that one.
Well, the way the Deadly 10 happened, we all got T-shirts and we're like, "What is this?" It was almost like being chosen for some cult or something. And I'm like, he's like, "Well, this thing and this a pack." Oh, let me tell you. I guess I tell you the story, but there's this.
Sure.
We all got these. There's something coming for you. You know, like what? Yeah. And you get it, and so I get this box, and you open it, and it's like a clothing box. I'm like, what the hell is this? And you open it up, and you're thinking, oh, it's like a head of the family shirt or something. And you open it, and it's a black T-shirt, and it says, you know, Deadly 10, has the Deadly 10 logo on it, and we're just like, what the hell is the Deadly 10? And I guess we were all chosen to be like part of this 10 thing. We're all like marks, like some weird film cult of people. But yeah, that's how it happened. That's the real deal. And he's like, dude, did you get the shirt? And I'm like, yeah, what the hell is it? And then we all talked about it, and then it was a matter of figuring out what movies, you know, we were doing and so on and so forth. And again, I told you a little bit about how mine happened, but it wasn't the first one in the list. There was other ones. All the sequel to Sideshow was talked about at one point. I'm like, I don't want to do that. You know, there's other things that were talked about, but anyway, it all ended up being what it ended up being. So we're all happy. But yeah, that's a weird story about the shirts.
It is. You have been chosen by Mr. Band.
Yeah,
it's like the Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like the
Luigi's
golden
t-shirt.
ticket. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it sure was.
Well, gentlemen, again, thank you all so much for joining us. When the world opens back up and we get more projects going out, please keep us in mind. I know Laura's keeping us in mind with the full moon feature and keeping us up to date and giving us trailers as they start coming out. But, you know, anytime that you all have something, and even if it's a side project, something independent going on, keep us in mind. We'd love to have you on. We're always doing these little shows here. We have one that we do through the week, and then we're going to be doing these kind of little shows. We don't charge people to come on here. We don't charge people to show up. We're just trying to help everybody have fun during all the crap of the world, and then helping our indie friends out there network. But thank you all so much again, and y'all have a great rest of your weekend and stay safe and healthy out there.
Thank for having
Matt,
us.
and thank you, Meredith, for
thank you.
running behind the scenes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, guys.
See you guys.
All right, I do like Charlie.
And everybody else, make sure you flip on over to refresh this here in just a minute. I'm going to be starting an episode of Geeky, Cheeky, and Downright Freaky, where we're going to talk about some weird, freaky sex stuff in both DC and Marvel, the two big guns. And then, of course, then the After Hours is going to start here on IndieVent. That's INDEEVENT.com. You can see the rest of the schedule for tonight and then the full day of schedule tomorrow. Meredith, thank you, ma'am. Everybody else, thank you so much. Again, thanks to Full Moon Features and the gentleman from the Deadly 10. If you haven't already done so, check out deadly10.com and Full Moon Features. Get yourself your memberships or your subscriptions, and let's have some fun. See you guys soon.